Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Film Nobodies. Today, we'll be talking about the second installment in James Gunn's DC Universe, Supergirl. It was directed by Craig Gillespie. It had a budget of $170 million, and in the box office, it made $119 million. So it kind of bombed, especially since the budget does not include the marketing. I believe it was around $290 million altogether. They had to break even with that much, and they didn't even make half of that, which honestly kind of sucks because this movie is not bad at all, in my opinion. I think the last movie, the first movie, Superman, I think it made like $600 million, and I think they were really trying to do the same here. Let me see. Yeah, it did $600 million worldwide.
At the box office?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's more
it
than I
made
thought.
it made a lot of money last year, and I definitely believe they were trying to go for the same thing here, and it did not, unfortunately. I honestly don't even know why, because it was like really hyped up. I think what it was, personally, was it was kind of like released like once Superman dropped, it was like, okay, Supergirl is next year, and everybody was like super hyped, and then it kind of like tapered out a lot over the year that it got like talked about.
I
And
wonder if that
so
has anything to do with that. I wonder, if you looked at the numbers for female superhero movies compared to male, if there's like a big discrepancy. Like, I wonder if it has anything to do with that. Like,
it's
he has a
probably,
Supergirl instead of Superman.
yeah, it's possible. But either way, we both saw it, and
Wait, you
the
saw it? I haven't
first
seen it yet.
you were supposed to do it for this video, Dad.
Sorry. I'll just make it up as I go.
Yeah, just like play along.
Yeah, I'll just pretend.
The first thing that I want to talk about is the plot and the story. It's a pretty different plot to the first one. It's definitely a lot more. I think they were going for a much more edgy kind of story compared to the first one, especially in terms of
Yeah.
like the things that they like especially with the villain, with the stuff that he does throughout the whole movie. I was kind of surprised with what they were going for, because there's literally a part in the movie where he's like trying to look for the two parents of the kid that they were like looking for. Like they like tried to poison her
Yeah.
on that world, and they're like trying to save their lives and stuff. And then the villain goes after them towards the end of the fight, and he just straight up murders the entire family. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, wow,
Yeah.
I did
It's
not
like a
expect
way to
that.
kick off the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, honestly, I thought it was like a good decision. I hate when movies and shows are scared to kill off characters in like in the hopes of like not pissing people off. So I
Yeah.
like that this villain wasn't like that in that way. Like he was like, there was a lot of plot armor around the character, so he wasn't able to actually be a villain. It was nice to see that you could see how like bad he can be.
Yeah, that's true.
But as for the rest of the story, I felt like they did a pretty good job in terms of developing her as a character, because it's a character movie. It's trying to give the audience a good idea of how they want to portray Supergirl. And so they go in depth into a lot of her backstory, which is probably my favorite part of the movie, because I don't know, I never really knew anything about Supergirl like growing up, or like, because there's no really like there's Supergirl
Yeah.
media, but there's nothing like Superman. There's a lot of Superman movies,
Yeah.
but not really anything with Supergirl.
We know a lot about
It's
Superman and Batman and stuff, but I don't have any backstory on Supergirl, so
It's
I
a
did
breath of
appreciate
fresh
that
air.
about the story. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
did. Instead of it just being like a raw action type thing, they gave it some story and depth to it, to the character, that kind of set up motivations and all that kind of stuff in a pretty good way.
Yeah, I agree. I think them like going back and showing, especially right after we saw the first one last year, it's kind of like ties it together, like finishes the story, because they didn't really do the backstory in the first one. They kind of were just like, yeah, this is Superman, let's get to the, like, you already know his backstory. He got
Yeah.
shot off into space when he was a baby because his planet was blowing up. But then you see in this movie that it's not exactly it's not exactly the backstory you're used to, that you get a better glimpse as to what happened afterwards. And I've heard that it's actually different from the comics. Like they changed up how Supergirl was created as a character, because originally I think she's supposed to be older than him.
Oh,
That's
really?
that's what I've heard.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong, but
I don't know
that's what I've
anything
heard.
about the original comic book stories or anything.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at it strictly from a movie goer type, and I thought the backstory made sense, and I think the way they stitched the two stories together from the original Superman movie and this movie, in like who they are and how they know each other and all this stuff, I think they did a really good job connecting the dots. So, I mean, no, I don't think there's really anything to fault there in terms of like the backstory part.
No, yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think that was probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, the plot is probably like just like how the story progresses and the actual story. That's probably my favorite part of this whole movie, like my favorite aspect.
What was
I just
what was the part of like the story that you didn't like, or that was kind of just didn't work well?
of the story itself. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like the ending was pretty weak, in my opinion. It was building up a lot, and I really liked seeing her struggle with her character throughout like the very middle of it and towards the end. But whenever they're like the villain shows up for the last time and they have like the final battle sequence and stuff, it felt really basic and cheesy to me. It felt like there was nothing original in terms of the ending. It was kind of it was a very cliche superhero ending to me.
Well,
And
I
it
don't
was
know.
a
I mean,
little-
I don't agree with that, because like think about it, the she kills him.
yeah,
And
that was
that's very on Superman like.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I wanted to say that was good. Like
Yeah.
her, like the moment before was cliche. Like
okay. Yeah.
like you're better than this. Like you shouldn't kill him. And it was
Yeah, I
like,
can see
okay, I
that.
get it.
Yeah.
But then she kills him, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because the superheroes never kill the bad guy, and
And
at
that's-
least that's kind of the
And
cliche. And
it kinda
she
goes-
proves she's not Superman. She's like, no, this dude sucks. He needs to die.
Yeah, exactly. He does need to die. He's horrible. And I think that goes hand in hand with like what I think is my favorite part of the movie. I hate that I'm going into the characters already. We're supposed to be talking about the plot, but
Sorry.
like her character is such a huge part of the story, because it's a character.
I mean, it really
story.
is. Yeah, it's like half the story is her.
Yeah, it's
is her
her.
character. Like explaining where she comes from literally, but also where she's coming from mentally, and why she's kind of like this. Kind of a loser in the beginning. I mean, honestly, like
Like
she's
a
not doing
drunk.
anything with her life. She's just getting drunk all the time, and has given up on life, and she's only like in her 20s or something. So why is she that way, and how she kind of progresses through the movie. I mean, that's most of the story. So
Yeah, and seeing her development throughout the movie is like what makes the movie good, in my opinion. And that part at the end ties into all of that. But the rest of it, I felt like it was kind of like, okay, whatever. Like they break out of the prison that they're being held in, and then they have this huge battle sequence. A few of those fights were really cool. Like towards at the end, like her just gunning for the main villain, and then she just grabs him and just starts like spinning around and throwing him on the floor, and I was like, oh my god, this is pretty awesome. But there are a few things like tiny little tidbits, nitpicks that I could say about it. Like I didn't like the song choice for whenever it's like slow mo and it's like circling around, like showing her like beat the hell out of them.
Oh yeah,
I
giant hurricane where she's just going in circles.
I wasn't a big fan of the song choice, but like that's just a nitpick, whatever.
One thing that overall was kind of annoying throughout the movie, is in terms of like, I mean, I guess it's part of the story because it's her trying to progress, and it's like the fits and starts of her figuring herself out and what her strengths and weaknesses are and that kind of thing. But one thing that was kind of annoying is that every time she kind of like would rise to the occasion, the bad guy would find some way to like take her knees out from under her, and then she's like defeated again. That happened like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times through the movie. It was like, okay, enough's enough. Like let her finally become Supergirl and rise to the occasion. It was kind of annoying how many times they had to like knock her down, and then she restarted. Like in that one scene when she does go after him, when they break free from the prison and all that stuff, and then she shows up and she's like all ready to go, and she goes after him, and then he shoots her with like some weird gun he has with kryptonite in it. And you're like, okay, Jesus. How many times is she going to take a knee here? Like just let her be the hero. So it took like a lot of that through the movie for her to finally get to the point where she was, actually Superman-esque. And it just, I don't know. I think they took that a little too far. It was a little frustrating to watch her constantly get knocked down like that. So,
yeah, I that is a good point. They used a lot of kryptonite in this movie, it was just like it was like a what do you call it? It was like a cheat code for them to like weaken her. Superman is like, they don't like kryptonite, right? So just shoot her with a couple of darts that somehow have kryptonite in them, or they just go to this planet that happens to have a kryptonite sun. It's like, okay, awesome. I mean, I thought that was actually,
it wasn't a kryptonite sun though, was it? It was just that it wasn't a yellow sun, so she doesn't draw her energy. It has the negative effect on her as the yellow sun does.
Okay.
That's what I picked up on. But again, I'm not like a
That
DC
probably makes more sense. I just like off the surface, what I imagined was that it was green, so it was like a kryptonite sun or something. Because she was like really weak, and so I was like, okay, probably has something to do with kryptonite at least.
Well, no, they mentioned it. They said something like that in the movie. Like they said, the green sun does the opposite to Kryptonians. The green sun like draws their energy away, and the yellow sun enhances them, something like that. So
maybe I need to pay attention more.
What did you?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
What did you think of like the story, the little side plot in the movie with Jason Momoa's character? I forget what was the character's name?
Lobo.
Yeah. What did you think of that little side story there? I felt like it was a little bit of a distraction. It didn't really fit in the story, but it was kind of entertaining at the same time.
I feel like that's where a lot of the cliches were, like he's kind of just like there the whole time. I mean, it's fun. I like, you could tell that Jason Momoa had like a lot of fun playing the character, but in terms of like how the character adds to the story, it's really like nothing. He's kind of just like
Yeah.
bad guy. Don't know if he's on our team or their team or his own team.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like on his own team. It's like, yeah, I could have predicted that. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's like a character setup for a spinoff or something. I don't know, but
I hope so, because Lobo is a huge character in the comics, and so everybody was excited for Lobo, and he was probably a little bit disappointing in this movie, but yeah, maybe it is a setup for a spinoff. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm not really too interested in if they do anything with that, because I mean, they didn't do anything in this movie. Like he's just a nothing burger.
Yeah,
you know?
It was just kind of like this comic relief, maybe kind of thing, but it felt more in the story itself. It just felt like kind of this distraction, especially when he's like in the mix, like trying to fight for basically is like a bounty hunter type thing, and I'm like, okay, why is like this guy is supposed to be like a god? Why is he chasing money or something? I don't know. Just the whole thing was like, wait, I got questions. But there's no answers, and it didn't really matter. So I was like, why was that in the movie? I don't know, but
yeah, and I like Jason Momoa to a certain extent. I've never been like a huge fan, but I don't know. I feel like he's becoming more of like now that his career has been extended, he's done a lot of stuff now. I feel like he's becoming more of like The Rock type of actor, where he kind of just typecasts him in like these, like himself in these fun roles that don't really like make him need to have like any extreme acting ability. He kind of just does it for fun. That's
like
what it seems like to me.
Type things, yeah.
Yeah, obviously I can't speak for him, but that's what it looks like to me. You know, he's done Aquaman, now he's Lobo, he's done roles like this before. And so he's kind of becoming like a Rock type. And like that's kind of what I expect, because he definitely fits that superhero like superhero movie vibe, and so I like seeing him in the movies. But with Lobo especially, you kind of see that he cares more about having fun with the role and like giving it personality and charm than he cares about like actually like having like putting in the ability. Which sounds kind of mean, because I feel like he is a good actor, but I don't really think he cares as much about putting in a great performance rather than just making it fun for the audience.
Yeah, he's not going to win any Oscars in his lifetime, but he's one of those guys that's just a good entertainer.
Yeah, I agree.
He's good at movies, but he tries to do anything that's like remotely serious. It's not good. So he just needs to stick with that kind of comedy action type vibe, and I think that's where he fits, and that's a good role for him, and I think he does good. So, but he's definitely not going to win any awards for any deep acting or moving the audience or anything like that. So, Minecraft, those kinds of movies.
Yeah, Minecraft.
That's where
exactly.
That's your jam there, Jason. Stick with it.
Yeah, but I like him. I like seeing Jason Momoa. I don't have any. Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan, like I said, but it's nice seeing him every once in a while in a fun movie like that. I thought the actress, the casting for Supergirl was an interesting choice. I kind of like it, but I definitely didn't expect it, to be honest, because she's in. What's it called? House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like one of the main characters in that. And that's all I really know her from currently. I know she's like relatively new to the scene in terms of like mainstream media.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that she was
casting. I thought
yeah,
it was good casting.
I thought it was pretty good casting.
Yeah.
I think that I just didn't really expect her to be Supergirl. And whenever they cast her, I was like, okay, like let's see what's up. And then the movie came out, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, she did a really good job. I think she's a great Supergirl. If I'm being honest.
I think that her character and the way that she played it was I think exactly what they were going for, with this kind of misfit. Was trying to find herself and all this stuff. I think she did a great job, in the movie. and she pulled the action off too. So I don't know. I heard there was a lot of controversy about her as Supergirl.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
I don't know either.
yeah, when I watched the movie, I was like, it's pretty good to me. So
Yeah, I agree. I think she did a really good job, and I honestly I think she did the best job out of anybody in the movie. And I mean that's kind of easy to say because it's literally Supergirl, but I think she nailed it.
yeah, I'd say the bad guy was probably the weakest character and the weakest played.
I gotta be honest, I hated the villain.
Yeah,
I hated him.
Wasn't a big
bad.
fan of like the character they wrote nor the way it was performed. I don't know. It just felt.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't feel real while you're watching. It felt like very cartoonish almost. So.
Yeah, it was my least favorite part of the movie. Probably was him.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I did like certain parts. Like I said at the very beginning, like I liked that he wasn't a villain that held back and was just like a plot device or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like he actually like killed people, and like he killed a lot of people in the movie. He killed a few people in the very beginning, like an entire family, the little girl's family. And I'm like, okay, wow, okay, this is not going to be your typical superhero movie. And he kills the family in the middle of the movie, and
Yeah.
I like that aspect. I like that he's.
So you like family killers? Is that
Okay?
that's
No. Yeah, that sounds bad. No,
psycho.
I like that he didn't hold back as a villain because, like I said, I hate when movies and shows are afraid to kill their characters off, and so I like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, the rest of it, I actually really didn't like. He was because they were going for like a goofy personality that is like a ruthless killer. They were kind of like twisted up, but it just felt corny to me.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of hated how he would be like, because it was almost like a Guardians villain. It felt like they were trying to go for like a Guardians villain, and it just like landed flat for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I could see that in there. Like it worked in Guardians, but it didn't really work here. And
No.
I'm not sure why. But I don't know, just didn't land.
I think it's because it's not the Guardians. Like the main characters aren't the Guardians. Because
Yeah.
I could see him being a villain for them and it working because they can kind of bounce off each other. But with
Right.
Supergirl, she's like emo and like there's like a lot of, what do you call it? A lot of like disturbing parts of this movie in terms of like her backstory, like dark. Like the movie can be
Yeah.
dark at times.
Yeah, well,
and
it's DC, so.
Yeah, exactly. It's DC, exactly. So it like doesn't really work for this. Like he's being goofy, and it's completely out of place, and it doesn't feel
Yeah.
right at all. You know?
Yeah, it kind of takes away from his, that like kind of really dark villain character they were trying to build with him. So
Yeah.
it just, I don't know, it's kind of disjointed, I guess. But
Yes, perfect word for it. Disjointed.
yeah, and there wasn't a lot of story to him either. Like I still don't feel like I really understand who he was, where he came from, why he had the powers he had.
Yeah, he was
and
a
all
nothing burger at the same time. Yeah, like
Yeah, so there's no story to him. It was kind of a flat character, and then there's like this weird, they're trying to pull together funny with super dark villain stuff, and it's like, okay, pick one.
yeah, they definitely need to pick one. And I felt like it would have been way better if there was no funniness at all. Like if he was
Yeah.
just like a dark killer, even if they didn't give him any story like they did in this movie. Like if he was just like a ruthless, cold-blooded killer, I felt like that would have been way better than what they tried to do. I think it just landed flat for me.
Because you could have had the comedy. Because I think that Supergirl brought enough of the comedy relief.
I
On her
agree.
own.
Yes.
Her and with the little girl and that kind of thing. I think that was fine. You didn't need more. And plus, you had Jason Momoa in there mixing things up. So
Yeah, he was also adding comedic relief.
So there's plenty of that. I don't think we needed it, and should have she's just stuck with this hardcore villain that everything else revolved around.
Yeah, he's like laughing and stuff, like not like normal laugh. He's like goofy laughing throughout the whole movie, and I'm like,
It's
what's
kind of
going
like,
on?
do you remember the Joker movie?
Oh,
The one with what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix?
No. The one that was part of the Batman with was it Jared Leto?
Oh yeah, Jared Leto.
Yeah. That it kind of reminded me of that, where like I can't stand that Joker. That particular version of it, because it was just like, it was goofy, and he was ridiculous. Same thing with, I think, the villain in this movie is just like, just didn't work.
Yeah, he looked cool. I think he looked cool.
Okay,
But
yeah, I'll give you that. But
yeah, he looked cool,
Yeah.
and he was cold blooded and ruthless.
Yeah.
That was the only good things I could say about the villain.
yeah,
Like I said, probably my least favorite part. The only other person of note that I feel like we could talk about is the little girl. I felt like she was just like fine. She was like there,
yeah,
Like-
important part of the story.
Yeah, just a
but-
very big plot device. as far
Yeah,
as-
exactly. Like, she was, this kind of like, solid anchor in the story that was moving everything forward, but no real story behind it or anything. But she did a good job doing, playing her part, and I think the chemistry there with Supergirl was good. So I think it worked. It was,
Yeah.
but it definitely was just a plot device. It wasn't, anything really deep. Oh, you killed my
Yeah.
parents. I'm, revenge, and then that just kind of like moves the entire plot forward and brings Supergirl along with it. But it wasn't all that interesting of a backstory. Very cliche.
Yeah, I thought I even thought the little girl could be a little bit annoying at times because she kept like repeating the same thing over and over again. I gotta kill this guy. I gotta kill this guy.
Yeah.
It's like I get it. You gotta kill him. I get it. That was like I
Yeah.
felt like that was the only thing she ever said throughout the whole movie, was that she needed to kill him.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was like, okay.
basically that was the whole thing that kept moving the story forward, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Supergirl
So
having to
she
try
was
and
just-
defend her or help her or whatever. So
Yeah. She really wasn't a character. She was just a plot device.
it's an NPC.
Yes, yes, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it was like it was just whatever.
It did its job. Yeah, the character did its job, and she performed it well. It wasn't nothing wrong with how she did it. So, it worked. It was just a little bit like, okay, it is a little transparent in terms of the point of
Yes.
her in the movie. So,
I agree. And don't forget the best character in the whole movie, Crypto. All right.
yeah, true.
No, yeah. Obviously, I love seeing Crypto.
Okay, so actually, that's a good segue into the visuals and the graphics.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So, you want to start? Or you
Yeah.
want to?
Yeah, I thought overall there were some good parts and bad parts to the visuals, in my opinion. There was a lot of the visuals in the very beginning, like in terms of, because there's like a whole segment where they're in space, like on this, I don't know, bus. It's like
Yeah.
a bus in space.
Yeah.
And she there's like moments where she leaves the bus to like get the power from the sun and like come back and beat their ass. And you see like the planet and stuff. And I thought that was probably the best parts of the visuals, is like that scene whenever she's in space and like flying around, like she takes the engines out of their thing. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I expect in terms of visuals. Honestly, it was on the same level as the last movie. And the last movie had insane visuals. I loved how that movie looked. And this movie had certain aspects of it where it looked like that. And I was very happy to
Yeah.
see it. And I don't know, I feel like at some point they kind of just like ran out of budget. And at the end of the movie, there's like dust clouds that don't look real. And there's like her, like even her throwing him and stuff, like whenever she's like like spinning him around and throwing him on the ground. I thought it looked great, but it was like typical good. You know, like it felt like it
mediocre.
fell a little. Yeah, it felt like mediocre CGI, and I was like, where'd the good CGI go? Where'd the good visuals go? You know, we just had it. It was earlier in the movie, and then at the end, it tapered off. I'm like, it couldn't even stick the landing there. You know?
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. So that was disappointing with some of the CGI in the end. But I would say the most disappointing thing about, and this goes to the Superman movie too, is the dog is completely digital, and you can tell the entire time. I hate that.
I was worried you were going to say that.
I can't stand that they made that dog nothing but CGI, and you could tell the entire time he's CGI. Like the wavy hair, you could tell isn't real. It's just it's computer generated, and you're just like, come on, you guys couldn't train a dog and then use the effects for when he has to fly and do things like that, just like you do with people, or use really good CGI so that we couldn't tell the difference, like in Transformers or something like that. I don't know if it's really hard to digitize like animate like people and animals and things like that as easy as it is to like do things that are make believe like robots and aliens, but I just that to me that was just one annoying feature of both movies that I don't know why they could not make that better or actually use a real dog and just digitize him when he has to fly or whatever. That to me, from the visuals perspective, everything you said is true. Like I think that there were certain scenes that were really good, and then there was like some really disappointing ones. But the one thing that stuck out throughout the whole movie was like, "This is that damn dog." It's like, why couldn't you use a real dog?
I don't know if my memory like deceives me, but in the first movie, I felt like Crypto looked good. I was like, "Wow, this dog looks like really good," and then this movie, I don't know. Maybe it was the same for both, but I felt like in this movie it was worse.
Well, you saw him less in Superman, right?
True. Very true.
It wasn't as it was definitely was not as big a feature of the movie as it was a Supergirl, because I mean that was one of the big parts of why she was doing what she was doing. But in Superman, he was involved a few times. It wasn't really that big of a deal, so it was okay. Like I didn't really notice it all that much, and maybe the CGI was better in Superman. And I'm just remembering it as I saw it in Supergirl. I don't know, but either way, like in Supergirl, I was just like, oh man, this dog. It just takes away from the your ability
the immersion.
to emerge. And so I don't know. That was just annoying. Just a little annoying feature. Not a huge deal. Doesn't make me hate the movie or anything like that. It's just like, come on, guys, you couldn't have made this a little bit better.
Yeah, and granted, he's not even like throughout most of the movie, but I agree. It took me out of the movie a little bit whenever I saw like how he looked, because it's like cool, it's a super dog, and I feel like they tried, especially in the first movie. I feel like they tried to make him like real as possible, but I agree. I feel like in this movie it felt really fake.
Yeah. I just, like I said, it's not a huge deal. It's just one of those like little annoying hanging things out there. It's like, you could have spent just a little bit more money to make him more realistic or something.
And I feel like whenever you have a budget like they did, what was it? What did I say? It was 170 million. Like that's almost $200 million. It's almost like Infinity War Endgame level CGI budget.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we saw it in the last, well, to be fair, two completely different things. But like I said in the last episode with Steven Spielberg, like he is an expert at using a budget. And I feel like after seeing like his movies and stuff, there's really no excuse for not having extremely good CGI when, especially nowadays, when you have a budget like that. $170 million is nothing to scoff at. It's a lot of money. And I feel like some people just don't really know how to use it. And granted, a lot of this movie looked really good, but I feel like the budget warranted an extremely good-looking movie. especially with the tools at their possession and the things they have access to. It's a huge company, DC.
Yeah.
It's huge, and I feel like they didn't use the budget as well as they could have, and they should be knocked down for it. They should be called out for it because, especially 2026, this is CGI is really good right now.
I mean, it could be more expensive these days, with how
it could.
But at the same time, I don't know, when you watch something like House of Dragon, right?
Yes.
When you watch that and you see the dragons, that's pretty good. That is really good CGI. But why can't you do that with a dog?
I know.
You know what I mean? That's, to me, doesn't seem that far fetched, and that's an HBO series, which I would think has a lower budget overall, but still, I don't know. You build giant dragons that look very realistic, but you can't make one simple dog. It seems weird to me. So,
season 1 of House of the Dragon, it was had a $20 million budget per episode, so it was about $200 million for season 1, which is more than Supergirl, but at the same time, it's also it's 10 hours
of content.
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours of content, and Supergirl is less than 2 hours. So it's a pretty short movie, and like you said, the dragons look absolutely amazing. Yeah. And that was only a few years ago when the first season came out. So I feel like there's no excuse really. I feel like if you have anything close to $200 million, your CGI should look phenomenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is there's some practical reason that maybe they're using it on a live dog, with all the blue screen and the dots and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're trying to emulate dog behavior that's realistic, and that's harder to do than something that's completely make believe that they can just make up with a dragon. I don't know. Maybe there's a practical reason why it's weird, but it's just it's annoying when you can see them make dragons or Transformers or whatever, or even the aliens in Supergirl. Remember the aliens on the bus?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure some of those, at least the little guy, was CGI, and that was really good. I mean, you couldn't tell.
That's what I'm saying. The rest of the movie looked fantastic. Yeah. And then it tapers off because I don't know. It could be any reason, but it looks like laziness. We have to wrap this up. We got to get this movie out. Yeah. So just throw some dust clouds in there. I don't know. We used this in a movie in 2016. Just throw that in there, and it'll be fine.
Have her spin around, kick some ass.
Yeah, exactly. They'll love it. There's just stupid.
Yeah.
The stupid audience. They'll get it. It's come on. It's almost a little insulting. Seeing how different it is. It couldn't even be consistent. But it's not that big of a deal. It's just like you said, just a little bit annoying.
Yeah, it just takes away from your movie experience a little bit, and it adds up through the movie. So I think that it has an effect, but it's not oh this movie sucks because of it or anything like that. It's just come on, you're better than this kind of thing.
And honestly, I'm complaining a lot more than I actually really liked a lot of this movie. There were just a few things that really like a lot of little nitpicks and a couple of big things that I didn't like that I felt need to be addressed, because it was just annoying to see, especially after the first one. But overall, I really liked the movie, if I'm being frank.
Okay.
Especially the plot was good.
So
definitely drove it for me.
Compared to the Superman movie, do you think it was on par with it, or a couple notches below or above?
Definitely a couple notches below. Another small nitpick that I'll address in terms of the writing is, compared to the first movie, this movie has a lot of cliches and tropes that they follow. It felt a little lazier in terms of how they wrote the characters and The dialogue, especially, there were a lot of cliches in there. Like, I mean, that was probably the worst part of her character, is like how they were kind of like writing how she talks sometimes. It felt like, it was like kind of edgy, and it was just like very typical in terms of that. And I don't remember anything specific, but yeah, I just remember like she would just say things like, especially at the beginning, where it was like her trying to be like edgy and stuff, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
and but
Yeah,
I mean, like,
it kind of. I think I get what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know, it just felt very tropey and cliche. And compared to the first one had a lot of very interesting dialogue that was different from what I'm used to in terms of superhero movies, especially with Superman. Like the way they would talk and stuff, the dialogue, especially with Superman, was different from what I expected, and it was unique in a way. Very authentic, I guess. And the cliche dialogue in this movie felt like it took away from the authenticity that it was supposed to have, like the first one.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's how I feel.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So in a couple ways, in terms of that, and in terms of the characters, I guess that goes with the writing, and some of the visuals and stuff, I think that brings it a few notches down for this movie.
Okay. So what would you? Are we ready to rate?
Yeah, we can rate it now.
Okay. So what would you rate it?
Okay. I'll give this movie a 7. I enjoyed it, and it was pretty fun to watch. It was entertaining, and there were a lot of mixed reviews surrounding this movie, and so I went in with low expectations. So maybe that's part of it. I wasn't really disappointed. I kind of got exactly what I expected, or maybe even like a little bit more than what I expected, because people were saying really bad things, and honestly,
the bar was pretty low going into it. Like, in
bar
terms
was
of
pretty
the
low.
way people were, tearing it
Talking
up.
about
and I
it.
think a lot of it was just targeting her as the casting choice, which was extremely unfair. I thought that was just, the internet just being, the worst of people as usual. So if you guys who are watching this are interested in, the movie, definitely don't hold back because of the casting. I think she did a fantastic job.
I agree. I think it's definitely worth watching. It's pretty good.
It's definitely worth watching. It was an entertaining movie. I mean, there's no. It's hands down true.
It was just a very typical superhero movie, and in my opinion, the bar is really high just because of the first movie. If it was a Supergirl movie by itself, I probably wouldn't be complaining as much. But the bar was really high with the first movie.
Yeah,
I think I gave that.
Point, so
I gave that one like a 9. Like, I love that movie. It's probably one of my favorite superhero movies.
I was going to ask you, like, where would you put Superman compared to that?
That one's like a 9. One of my favorite superhero movies. But this one it was just like a typical, like, pretty good.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about, but enjoyable nonetheless. What would you rate it?
I think I've been close to the same boat you are. I'd say a 6.5.
Yeah.
It was a solid, mediocre movie, entertaining, fun. I think there were some really cool parts to the movie, but like a lot of the stuff you pointed out that take away from it, it could have been a really, really good movie if they had addressed some of those things. But all in all, it definitely, like, it's an entertainment movie. I'll probably watch it again, sometime later. Just because it's a good, entertaining action comedy superhero movie, and I also think that one of the side benefits of it, well, probably not a side benefit for the studio, but for the audience, is that it connects the stories pretty well. So the next Superman movie, if they make one with both of them in it, I think it will be a smooth story from just a story perspective. I think that was one of the best elements of the movie. I just think the movie itself and some of the, the way that the story was told through some of the characters and that kind of stuff is what really takes away from the movie. But the story itself is pretty solid. It connects with the original Superman, and it sets us up for like the next in the franchise. So I think that all works really well.
Yeah, and my favorite part of the movie is when they go into her backstory, because you really understand like why she is the way she is, and she like there's like a moment of catharsis towards the middle of the movie. I forgot when specifically, but like I think it was like it had a lot to do with her backstory, and then she goes up into space and like screams into like the void, and I thought that was a really good moment. And so like that is the best part, is seeing her, which is probably the most important thing that they could have gotten right. So I'm glad that they were right in that aspect.
Yeah, they got the core elements right, which was the most important part. So,
and then the next movie that they're doing in this universe, I think, is Clayface. I don't know if you've heard about Clayface.
Yeah, I saw the preview for that actually a couple weeks ago. Looks kind of weird. So
a lot of people are excited because it's like a horror. I think they're going for like a horror kind of thing, and it's being written by Mike Flanagan. So pretty good. I like Mike Flanagan. So we'll see. Yeah, I think it comes out in October, so we got a little bit of time before that comes out. We'll probably do a video on that one. But yeah, I think for the next video, we are going to do the Odyssey. So stay tuned for that. That's a huge one. Already hearing great things about it. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but Christopher Nolan's my favorite director, and I have a lot of faith in the project, especially since people have been hating on it for certain things, casting choices, and the way certain things look. People were switching up and hating on it, and I'm glad to see that a lot of them are getting proven wrong right now, apparently. So I'll go see it for myself, and I'll have probably a lot to say when we come back for the next episode. So
one thing I'm looking forward to is I saw an interview he did with Jon Stewart, and they were talking about the visual effects, and it's all practical effects. Like he did very little digital
like that's
stuff,
crazy.
And I love that. So looking forward to seeing just the shots and how that came out, like the Trojan horse and the Cyclops and all that kind of stuff. So should be a cool movie. Looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I am very excited. I hope right now my favorite movie from this year that I've seen is Project Hail Mary, and I think the one movie that might surpass it is Odyssey. So we'll see if I feel that way when we come back. But stay tuned for that episode. That's going to be a big one. And thank you guys for watching this episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
All right.